Welcome to watch this training. This is the third part. In this part, I will introduce common and unfrequently used commands for creating the surfaces in ZW3D. First, I need to introduce some basic knowledge of the surface. There are three types of surfaces: plane, regular quadratic surface, and freeform surface. The regular quadratic surface includes the cylindrical surface, spherical surface, torus, etc. And the quality of the surface is the same as the curve, which includes the quality of the surface and the quality of the surface stitching. But there have differences between the surface and the curve to check the quality. The curve uses the curvature comb to check the quality, but the surface uses the zebra stripes to check the quality. There have three display types in ZW3D, respectively G0, G1, and G2. Regarding the G3 continuity, the display types are the same as G2. Okay, let's move on ZW3D to show more detail to you. Let's use these two surfaces to show you the zebra stripe of G0 to G2. First, use the loft command to create a connected surface. The direction is opposite, switch the direction. The continuity selects the none. OK, now the continuity is G0. Turn on the zebra strips to check the continuity. You can see the G0 characteristic is that the joint of zebra stripes are irrelevant, and the lines are not continuous and usually staggered. Next, change the continuity as tangent. It means the continuity is G1. The characteristic is that the zebra stripes are connected but produce sharp corners where they connect. Next, change the continuity as curvature, which means the continuity is G2. The characteristic is that the zebra stripes are connected, and there are transitions at the connections. Change the continuity as flow. Now the continuity is G3. But you can see zebra stripes are the same as the G2. We can only use a command which under the Inquire tab. I will introduce it in later chapter. After introducing the surface, next, I start introducing the commands which can create surfaces. The basic modeling commands can also create surfaces. It divides into two cases: wireframe open and wireframe closed. The first type is wireframe open. In this case, we can use the basic modeling command to create the pattern as a surface directly. The second type is wireframe closed. The commands are the same as the wireframe open, but we need to select some special options to get the surface. All of the usages of these basic commands are the same as the modeling module. So if you want to learn more about these commands, you could check the training video about the modeling module. Okay, let's move on ZW3D to show more detail to you. First, I will introduce the status of the wireframe open. Create a sketch and draw a curve randomly. Now, you can see, when you use the basic shape command to create a shaped base on this curve, you can only create the surface. For example, I use the extrude command. It can only create the surface. Roll back to sketch, and revolving this curve is creating the surface as well. Next, we roll back the feature and sketch. Create a new spiral line and create a curve randomly. And then using the sweep command to create the surface. Next, create an arc in a datum plane. Create a new datum plane for creating a new sketch. Create a plane in the other datum plane. And then add the two fillets. Extrude them. using the loft command. And the lofted surface will be created. Next, I will introduce the status of the wireframe closed. The closed wireframe creates the surface need to check a special option, such as this rectangle. When you use the extrude command, you can see it will create a closed shape. At this time, you need to select the option in the profile cap. The default is both end caps. The final is no end caps, which no surfaces both at the start and the end. The second is start end caps. It means there is not the surface at the start. The third is end caps. It is opposite to the start end caps. The effect relies on what you want, but we usually select the final option to create a surface for the closed wireframe. Okay, now, I roll back to the sketch to introduce the sweep command. We need to create a sketch to draw a sweeping road. And then using the sweep command. The option is the same as the extrude, so I don't mention it anymore. Finally, it's the loft. Offset the datum plane and create the circle. Use the loft command and select the same option. The lofted surface will be created. After introducing the basic commands. Next, I introduce the curve mesh command, which is frequently used in creating the surface. The usage of this command is selecting the U direction lines and the V direction lines and then adding the boundary constraints. The surface will be created. We support G0 to G2 continuity. About the disjoint entities as new UV option, if one curve is created by many lines, we can check this option that ZW3D will combine them as a smooth spline. It can increase surface quality. If we create the three-side surface, we need to check this option that can make the surface will extend to the convergence point. The last option is sew shape. It is very easy to understand that we can sew the surfaces as one surface. Okay, let's move on ZW3D to show more detail to you. Now, I use this surface to introduce the curve mesh command. Because the surface that needs to create is a four-side surface, you need to select all the curves in the same direction. Such like this. When you select the first curve in the U direction, you can see there have other connected lines. You need to select, and then click this icon to confirm. You can also single-click the middle mouse to confirm it. Now, you can see all the lines in the U direction are selected. Next, you need to select the V direction. You can see there have 3 lines in the V direction. Select all. There needs to remind is keep the line direction coincident. You can click this icon to switch the line direction. Ignore the continuity, we confirm it. The surface will be created. Next, I will introduce continuity. First, I will turn on the zebra stripe display. Now you can see all the continuity is G0. The connected zebra stripes are staggered. Okay, I changed the continuity of the first U line to G1. You can see the connected zebra stripes are connected with the sharp corners. Next, I changed the continuity of the first V line to G2. The zebra stripes are not only connected but also smooth. When I uncheck the sew option, the number of the surface will increase. When I check it, the new surface will be the one with the old surface. Finally, let me introduce the three-sided surface. When you create the three-side surface, you must check this option extend to the intersection point. If you don't do that, the three-sided surface will be not created. So don't forget to check it when you create the three-sided surface. The next command is n-sided. It is usually used to repair the unimportant polygon surface or the missing surface on a plane. If this command is used to create the surface in the model space, you can see this pattern. The effect is not good. There has an option named tangent at boundary. It is very easy to understand. If you want to send the tangent continuity on each edge, you can check this option. Next option is refit. You can check this option to get a new spline that fits the original spline when the original curve has many control points, or the order of the curve is too high. Finial option is minimize surface data. It is a very common option in surface commands. It means making the data of created surface smaller. After introducing the options of the n-sided command, there have some tips I want to show you. You can according to the symbol judge whether the selected edges are connected or not. If you see the triangle, it means these two lines are connected. The rectangle means the lines are not connected. Okay, let's move on ZW3D to show more detail to you. Now I introduce the n-side command. This command is very easy. Only need to select the boundary whether the lines, the curves, or the edges. But there has a requirement that the boundary needs to connect end to end. You can see, if the lines are connected, the point of intersection will display a triangle. If the points are not connected, the endpoint will display a rectangle. Select the rest of the spline and confirm it to finish the surface created. Let's turn on the zebra stripe to check its continuity. You can see the continuity is G0. At this time, you can check this option to change the continuity to G1. There has an option named refit. When the original curve has too many control points, or the degree of the curve is too high, you need to choose to fit. There have 4 types here. Let me introduce them one by one. No means we do not fit the curve. Tangent means the fitted curve is tangent throughout its length. Curvature means the curvature of the fitted curve is continuously tangent. Direct, the fitted curve parameters are evenly spaced. Some of the options are difficult to understand. But to be honest, we usually select the no. The final option is minimize surface data, which optimizes the number of control points of the surface to make the resulting surface data smaller. This command is fempatch. It is similar to the n-sided command to create the polygonal surface. There have many options in this command. The first is U degree and V degree. They can control the order of U element lines and V element lines. The smaller the value, the lower the surface quality. But the amount of data is small. Generally, the default value can handle most cases. The curves under the shape control mean we can define a certain spline inside the created fem surface so that control the shape of the surface. The usage of the points and normal are the most similar to the curves. The fem setting is used to control the shape of the surface. The default parameters can meet most requirements. About the specify sampling density option. The premise of the fempatch is to extract sampling points on the edge. Generally, I don't recommend checking it when we don't have special requirements. Finally is the continuity option. We can add the G0 to G2 continuity when we use the fempatch command. The specific usage can refer to this picture. For the first entity, we need to select the edge. And the second entity, we select the corresponding surface. If we don't need the continuity, we can use the delete continuity to delete the continuities. And the common options such as so, auto reduce, and tolerance. I won't mention them anymore. Okay, let's move on ZW3D to show more detail to you. We continue using this model to introduce the fempatch command. First need to select the boundary whatever the lines, the curves, or the edges in the boundary needs to connect end to end. It is the same as the n-side command. The U and the V degree mean controls the degree of U element lines and V element lines. The smaller the value, the lower the surface quality, but the amount of data is small, and the system operation is fast. Generally, the default value can handle most cases. When I confirm, you can see the surface have an intersection with the curve. So if you want the surface through the curve, you just select this curve in the Curves option. As for the FEM setting, when I modify them, the surface will be changed. But default setting can meet most requirements. Next, it is time to introduce the continuity, so turn on the zebra stripe display. At this time, the continuity is position, so the continuity is G0. Add the continuity. The first option selects the edge. The second option selects the surface. Finally, select the tangent continuity. The tangent surface will be created. Select the curvature continuity in another edge. Okay, you can see. The tangent will be marked C1 and the curvature will be marked C2. If you want to delete the continuity, just click this icon and select the edge that has the continuity. Okay, the continuity is deleted. The other edge is the same as this edge. Okay, this is all the content of this video. Thanks for your watching.